Record. Nate looks like he is in a place that is having no fun at all. Guys, we'll give everybody just another minute. It is right at 1 o'clock, and I want to get rocking and rolling. I know a couple of people are texting me, I'm logging in. So we'll give everybody a minute. Turn your videos on if you can. I know we have a couple of MCTTs on the call who are actually projecting to their entire education center. So hello, everybody who we can't see. All right. Come on, put your videos on. I think when we go back to in-person training, I'm going to start putting paper bags on people's heads with a blank screen and then their name across it so it feels like Zoom when everybody has their stuff off. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. All right, in the chat, I am going to drop a worksheet for you guys if you want to follow along with it. It is called The Anatomy of an Engaging Post. That is what today's class is. This will also go up in the Growth Call Facebook page, and I will pop that link in as well. If you are not on there, go ahead and request to get into that Facebook group. Tons of information out there for you guys. There we go. All right, we have a packed hour, so we're going to get going. If you can turn those videos on for us, guys, go ahead and turn those videos on. My name is Brooke Silva. I am your regional technology trainer here at Keller Williams, New England. Today, I am joined by my good friend, Nate Pichette with UGA Marketing. Here, let's spotlight us so we're both easy to see. Add the spotlight. There you are. Hi, Nate. You're on mute, though.
Yeah, why was I on mute? Did you mute me?
I did. I never know what's going to happen. So,
you can't trust me.
So,
hi, everybody.
Hello. So thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on to our tech series. And this is one of 3. So today we're going to start with the anatomy of an engaging post. Then we're going to next week have the posting calendar, which is all about leveraging command to set it and forget it. It's like a Ronco rotisserie machine. You've got a great juicy chicken at the end of the day with your social media. And then our last one is called, oh my God, people are interacting. Now what do I do? Right? So what do you do with all this engagement that you're getting on social media? So Nate, why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, and a little bit about what you do with real estate people in our world.
Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. My name is Nate Pichette. I am the founder of UGA Marketing, and UGA was founded right around the same time as COVID hit. In fact, it was founded as a direct response to some questions that Brooke had for me. We sat down and the two of us actually built a communications class around social media that we launched and have successfully trained close to 600 agents just in the past calendar year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It was a huge, I just say, as somebody in the market center who is always trying to bring amazing content to my agents, you know, social media communications was always a tough thing for me to try to find and fit in the calendar because I can show you where to put it. But I'm not the right person necessarily for the sociology or the why of what to put out there. And that's where you, my friend, are the master.
That's what we try to do.
Yes. I call you my local Simon Sinek. That is what I've called you for years since we started our relationship. You are my favorite leverage tool. But you're not a tool, but you're my local Simon Sinek.
Y'all, she just says that because of the glasses.
Yes. Yes,
All
you
right.
look just like him.
Thank you so much.
Let's dig into this. So I'm going to post that worksheet one more time. And then again, guys, if you didn't snag it, it will be up on the Growth Call Facebook page. Make sure to add yourself to that page. We'll accept you in after this and you'll be able to see this. And also this recording will be on the Keller Williams New England YouTubies. So don't feel like you've got to go crazy busy writing everything down. You can replay at your leisure later on. So anatomy of a Facebook post. So now we're not talking social ads today at all, Nate, right? We are talking something that costs you no money. No money.
No, but if you get this right, your ads will get better when you start doing ads. So this is about communicating with people. All right. So one of the things I love to do, and Brooke, I hope you don't mind. I like people to actually engage with us over the course of this hour.
Yes.
So I want you all to answer questions for me pretty regularly through this. So please don't don't hesitate to jump in and speak up, ask questions, tell us stories that about successes or failures that you guys have had. We want to make sure that this is engaging. And the only way this is going to be engaging, just like a Facebook post or an Instagram post, is if we're actually communicating with one another. That make sense?
Absolutely. Love it. And I
All
love
right.
work. This is a workshop, so let's work.
Perfect. All right. So, quick question. How many of you have been consistently posting content to Facebook for at least, let's say, 6 months?
6 months. Raise your hand digitally or physically if you've been doing it. So I see a couple. Okay.
All right. Anyone else? I see a lot of heads nodding no. So now I'm going to ask questions that I don't want hands, I want words, right? Because again, this is about communication. Why not? Somebody tell me why there's been some, either you haven't done it or you've been hesitant to do it. Give me some of your stories.
I've been hesitant because I'm not exactly sure what to put out there. It's one thing if you're doing family photos or things you're doing with friends, but when I look, and I don't even do that much, but when I look from a business perspective, I don't want to do anything wrong. So that's me.
Understood. I've got one. Randy says lack of time. Anyone else? I hear Joyce, you got to take yourself off mute real quick.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah, I just haven't been comfortable with it. I did do a month of posts, and I am way better than I was, but not an expert, to say the least. I even have a calendar. If I use some of the content from KW, I'm trying to be consistent in between all of the transactions. So, yeah,
Okay.
inexperience, basically.
Yeah, I understand. So one of the things I hear all the time is the time issue. And I'm going to go ahead, Randy, and I'll tell you that I'm not going to take that as an excuse, because it's our job to communicate with the people that are in our sphere, right? That's really what we do. It doesn't matter if you're a tech trainer or if you're an agent. It really doesn't matter. It's our job to communicate clearly with our audiences, whether they're our coworkers, somebody within the KW ecosystem, or somebody who's in our network, right? It's our job to communicate. We're in a people-centric business. Now, I think one of the challenges that people have oftentimes getting started is that because it is so people-centric, it's hard to present yourself as a business. Does that make sense? Good. Now, how many of you engage with businesses on social media ever? Well, Brooke does. I know Brooke does. Anyone else?
I do with attorneys, so the closing attorneys I work with, my photographers, so the people, my vendors, basically.
Yeah. Y'all, nobody wants to engage with a business on Facebook. Does that make sense? So at some point, in order to create an engaging post, you have to be able to communicate with people as you. Whether you're a trainer or an agent, it's not always about your business. It's about a connection and a conversation people are having. And people don't talk to businesses, they talk to other people. All right?
They do. And, Facebook shared some really cool data with some of the regional tech trainers this week. And they said 3 in 4 Facebook users visit a Facebook page of a local business at least 1 to 2 times a week. So someone in their hyper local area, they're going to those business pages. So if yours is dusty and crusty and has no value, what's going to keep them coming back? So hopefully today, once we get through some of these pieces and parts of the engaging post, you'll learn that we're not going to wait for perfection. We're just going to stay true to self. We're going to find things that are of value to an entire audience, not just what you think is valuable for you as a person. And we're going to show off a little bit of personality, because Nate and I are giving you permission today to not post about just real estate. Hold on. I'm going to say that loud for the people in the back who may not have heard that. Hi, my name is Brooke, and you're allowed to post things that are non-real estate related on your business page. Okay? Permission granted, friends. Anybody can take those numbers. Anybody can take the pre-made designs. But people do business with people they like. Show who you are. Show, and you said something to me yesterday when we were planning all this, Nate. You said, be personal, but this is not Oprah's couch.
No,
No.
not Oprah's couch. No, this is not Oprah's couch. This is not this is not a town hall meeting where you're voicing your opinion about the school board or you know, COVID restrictions. That's not what this is, right? Yeah. Being personal doesn't mean exposing yourself personally and putting all your stuff out there. Being personal is really more about engaging with people, asking questions, and having good, open conversations. That's really what it is. How many of you have ever been around somebody who refuses to let anyone else talk? Is that fun to be around? Not really. Has anyone ever been around somebody who asks a lot of questions, even in social settings? Guess what? If you have, you'll find that they've got a lot of friends. People tend to invite them to things, right? It's the same thing on social media. All we're doing is having the same conversations that we would have in what I would call the real world with our, you know, flesh and bones, face to face. We're just doing it in a digital setting. You're still just communicating with people. So what we're going to focus on today is we're going to look at the different components of a post. We're going to talk about the type of content that you guys should be posting, and we're going to show you where things go. All right. Hopefully that will give you guys some confidence so that you don't have, you know, this kind of little, say, hesitancy to post on social media, for lack of a better word. It can be really scary to start this, right? Because oftentimes too, we compare ourselves to the people that are doing it a lot and go, my stuff doesn't look anything like that. You know, it doesn't have to. All right. And I'm going to show you a site of an agent who's fantastic at this. He's given me permission to show his site. He is a little quirky.
I mean,
awesome
who
guy.
isn't in our world? Everybody's got some. Oh, so hold on. I want to answer this question real quick. That is in.
I saw it.
Okay. You may not. Okay. I don't know. How do I put this? Because it's different everywhere. You are doing yourself the biggest disservice by only using your personal page. And there are some board rules where you will be shut down for that. Your personal page, you can't run ads for a reason. You can't do certain things for a reason. So you need a business page, and it's free and it's not tricky. Talk to your MCTT, talk to the tech people, come on our classes, but you must have a business page, and then you share from your business to your personal. People get shut down all the time on their personal side because they are posting their listings there first. So it is super important, business page.
Yeah, so I'm gonna build upon that because Brooke said something really important there that I want to key in on. What you're doing is you're building your posts on your business page, and you share them to your personal page. You communicate oftentimes through your personal page. And when we talk about engagement, I'll talk a little bit about how it works as we look at the components, but we're going to break it down into the top of the post, the creative or the picture, the video, whatever we're using, and then the bottom of post. All right. So the top of the post is what you're going to put on your business page. The creative is what you're going to put on your business page. That's going to live on your business page. The stuff below that, how we interact with posts, that's done on your personal page. All right. And we'll talk a little bit about that. So Brooke, I would like to share my Facebook account. Does that work?
Yeah, absolutely. You've got screen share access.
Oh, cool. How does that work? I'm just kidding. Give me 1 second.
Funny guy.
Y'all, I had her freaking out before this thing started. She's texting me, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? And all I'm doing is just looking at examples, sitting here right here, just waiting to log in. It was fantastic. She loves my jokes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Is the agent on? Is it Scott? Is that who gave you permission?
Scott did give me permission.
Yeah, he's not on the call. I wish he was so we could talk to him a little more about it. That's okay.
And he's fantastic. And it's, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to share, but I'm going to quickly go to Scott's page.
Okay.
All right, you got the right one. Because it's nice to see an actual page that's for an agent, not a marketer. All right, guys. So this is a business page. How many of you have your business pages set up? Anyone?
Show of
See,
hands,
a
digital
lot of hands.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Good.
A lot of hands. Perfect.
Good.
All right. So you guys should be a little bit familiar with this. We have the top section. We have our profile picture. But we here are focused on this section right here, our organic post today. So we're going to break down the anatomy. Let's talk about this post right here. Because oftentimes I hear things like, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to post. What do I do? What if people don't like it? What if it makes me look stupid? I've heard that before. What if this makes me look stupid? I don't want to bother people with my posts. What you want to do is try to find something that's at least a little bit interesting to a broad audience. Okay? You don't want it to be something that only relates to real estate agents. You know, if we're talking about something that doesn't have a target audience in mind, it's not going to be engaging. So I guess what I would say first is, it's really important when you're creating an engaging post to have the audience in mind that you're trying to reach. Does that make sense to everybody?
And what if they don't know, Nate? So often I hear, well, I don't know what to say and I don't know who to say it to, so they don't even post anything and they don't learn from that. So what advice do you have there?
So about the posting anything, again, it goes back to, you've got to know why you're posting it, right? So when I ask you who your target audience is, well, we cover this all the time. Like, if you're trying to talk to everybody, it's difficult for your conversation to resonate with anybody, right? If you just walked into a room of strangers, even if they're acquaintances, and just started talking about real estate and it had no direction, right? How many people would look at you like, I don't quite understand what they're doing?
Oh, hello, nice to see you again. Oh no, okay, here we go, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you walk into a high school reunion, 10 years after graduation. That's, I think, where everybody on this call is, right? About 10 years after graduation. Sure. And then you walk in and, there's no back and forth. There's no nothing. And you just say, the real estate market today is absolutely on fire. Contact me to find out what your home is worth. Right? Like, it's not targeted towards anybody. Now, a different example of this could be something like if you walked into a room and you knew that it was the age demographic where people were kind of getting settled in buying their first home. And you asked a simple question. Have any of you guys ever are any of you guys considering buying a first home? Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you can start posts with, it's not as aggressive, but you can start a post with a question that helps the audience identify who they are, who you're speaking to. And then you can follow up that question. If you have somebody in mind that you want to connect with, you let them self-identify who they are. Okay? And then what you can do is then you can tailor the rest of the post to that group. Because the people who are not interested in that or that doesn't resonate with will pass it right over. But the people who might be interested in it, well, they might actually pay attention. And I would rather connect with 10% of my audience in a real meaningful way than have all of my audience look at it and go, yeah, I see it, but it's just not for me.
So what you're saying is treat your Facebook or your social media as if you're walking into a room of people where you may or may not know someone. And how would you open conversations with people? Would you be like, hi, my name is Brooke and I teach tech and I'm crazy and I like to do fun things. And people would be like, whoa. Defriend, unfollow, right? So if you're running into your Facebook and you are screaming real estate at the top of your lungs at all times, just may not be the best approach for people to find value, because that's why they stick around, is because you're providing value and super hyper local value. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit too. Mm-hmm. So So we've got this page, and now Scott is a realtor in New Hampshire. He is a funny guy. And you can, even if you don't know him, the tone of his Facebook page is you get his personality where he comes from a place of caring in everything he does.
Let's show a couple examples of what Scott does that could be different, and maybe we can inspire you guys to just open up the possibilities of what posts could be. And then we'll talk about the actual mechanics and where things go. All right. So
Yeah.
just to show you examples that really work, first, I want to point out something very, very, very important. Scott does not have a massive following. Okay. Scott has 362 people that follow his page.
You mean I don't need 10,000?
No, you don't. No, you don't. Not at all. Another little snippet about Scott. Scott's a part-time realtor.
We like to say dual career.
Dual career.
Dual
Well,
career.
Scott is very dual career, right? He has a family that he's raising. He works really, really hard.
He does.
He really does, and he really invests his time into the people around him. He's a good friend and a really good dad and husband. Like, the guy's a good guy.
Yes.
But he is dual career. All right. He also sells at 15 houses a year as dual career. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So let's check this out. So he's got 362 people. He's reaching, on average, at least his full audience, and oftentimes 3 or 4 times that.
Wait, so you're telling me on a business page,
Mm-hmm.
you can reach more people who aren't your followers?
Mm-hmm.
But if you were on a lockdown personal page, who would your audience be?
Well, that kind of depends on
On your settings, right?
on your settings and who you're engaging with. But what Scott does a really good job of on his business page is he doesn't make it all about business. So he promotes things in the community. His brother is a little league coach. All right. This was a post about New Balance providing shoes to the all-star team for the school district or the baseball district to wear during their games. So Scott, what he does is he posts it here. He shares it over to his personal page, and the comments and interactions start flooding in. He routinely gets very, very, very high engagement on his posts because he follows that simple practice. He picks content that means something to the people in his community. He gives other people credit for it. He does use things like hashtags, and we'll talk about that in a second. And he'll tag businesses all the time, and people all the time, to help magnify the reach and create content that can reach other audiences so they can actually see it, right? But he always touches on something that is universally appealing and impactful to his community. So Scott's reaching 509 people with this post. He's got 11 comments. He shared it at 14. He's got quite a bit of engagement. Okay.
Yeah.
Scroll down a little bit. 343. This is just him taking pictures of a tree cutter in his yard, thanking the tree service.
So I want to point out something that I'm seeing as a pattern, and I hope our friends and KWNE are seeing this too, is he's got a couple of things in his posts all the time. It seems like he's always tagging another location. It also seems like he's got a lot of hashtags.
He uses hashtags the right way.
Yeah.
He doesn't use hashtags for the sake of hashtags. And I guess we should touch on hashtags really quickly, guys.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's do that.
A hashtag is nothing more than a label for content. All right. I don't know if you guys knew this, but you could actually click on a hashtag. And let's open this in a new tab really quickly. It's easier on Instagram. I don't know why it's not opening. But you can click on a hashtag and you can actually follow the hashtag and it will collect posts for the hashtags. So a hashtag, when you post something out there, when you put a hashtag on it, you're essentially labeling your content and telling people what it's about. Okay. So when he hashtag New Balance, hashtag Bedford Little League All-Stars, hashtag Colorado Rockies, because it's somebody associated with the Rockies was actually part of this as well. What he's actually doing is saying this is connected to these other organizations. Does that make sense?
That's amazing. So he's bringing in other sources that will provide traffic and engagement to this post
Yes.
and to his page.
Yes. And we're only picking this one because it's right at the top, but he does it all the time.
Yeah.
Now, an important thing to understand about hashtags is that hashtags for real estate, unless you're working on a national level, right, should be localized. Because things like, hashtag new listing, well, people are using that hashtag all over the world. All right. So your hashtag is going to fall in line with stuff in California or England, right? Because remember, a hashtag is nothing more than us labeling our posts.
It's a tag.
It's a
It's a
tag.
tag, just like tags in Command Guys. This is a
Mhm.
way. It's a photo album. If you've ever been to a wedding where they say, use our Instagram wedding hashtag, it's so that you can collect all the things you want to visually see that are related to that hashtag in one place.
Yeah. And
One place.
I'm gonna hit Instagram real quick. This is a common one that people end up using. Okay.
Look at that.
So
There's a
hashtag
lot of
real
posts
estate
attached to
agent.
that.
There are 13 million posts for real estate agents on using the hashtag real estate agents. Look at what falls into this thing and look at where it is.
Right, you're going to fall off on this. Like, how about if you were to choose, real estate Bedford, real estate Newcastle, real estate Rhode Island, even get more granular.
That's what my recommendation is going to be for using hashtags, is that you have to select the correct hashtags in order to have any type of impact on what you're doing. So
Especially
when
when you have unique homes, right? That's your perfect opportunity. And now there's an interesting comment in the chat. Keith asks, is it okay to hide hashtags by using white text? And I don't think you can do that on Facebook anymore. I think they got rid of that. So you cannot white hashtag anymore. But when you've got somebody like me who is naturally curious, I see a link and you know what I do? Tap, 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 click, click, click. And I like to see what other people in my world are doing, right? So I'm looking at those things and I'm seeing what other people are putting out there. So if you're trying to hide it, but I don't think you can anymore. So yeah, these are hashtags for Facebook pages.
if you're using a hashtag, you're not trying to hide anything. You're actually trying to show people what you're connected to and what it's about. It's a label to tell other people what the post is about.
Yeah, it's not a meta tag like you would put in the back of a website if that's where you're going with that. It's this is meant to be a searchable, fun, interactive part of your post.
Yeah, but what I would recommend when you guys are using hashtags is to choose something local communities.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your town is, make sure that you're tagging things about the town. If you have a tourist attraction or a sublocation, I've got an agent that I work with up in Maine, and she's very close to Wells Beach. So when we sell a house in Wells, we're using the local hashtags that connect to, Wells Beach, Maine, or, a lot of different things. But we're using localized hashtags so that we can really kind of narrow down the audience.
And
so that
you're
we're not
also
wasting
tagging,
hashtags.
right? And you're tagging location. So I just want to make sure people aren't combining the two. While you can hashtag a location, there's something you can do on Facebook too, where when you're creating the post, you can type in and choose the location you're at, right? So Scott said, I'm at New Hampshire, Bedford, New Hampshire Little League Complex. So whoever follows that will have the opportunity to see it in their feed based on their browsing behavior. So,
and here's the Colorado Rockies hashtag. This is the hashtag. There are 7,000 people that are posting about this. And here's his post right at the top of it. And then there's other stuff that tag the Rockies.
Yep. So we've talked about tags. We've talked a little bit about what it should visually. I mean, we haven't gone too much into the visuals.
No.
So we're tagging people, we're tagging businesses, we're adding hashtags, but also we're creating people are visual, right? So if I were to look at 600 lines of text in a post, someone like me, you may lose my attention. I'll look at the picture and I'll keep scrolling, but I'm definitely not going to click that more unless it is broken up in a way that is visually pleasing to the eye. You don't call these text blocks, you call them statements, I believe. Post
Yeah,
statements.
yeah, we'll talk about the post statements in just a second, but first, in order for anyone to see your post statement, you have to have a picture that's going to get them there.
Yeah.
All right. And I want to focus real quick because Scott's page is a great example. We're going to use it kind of as our live example throughout this thing. Scott isn't afraid to post pictures of himself doing things,
Wait, non-real estate things?
non-real estate things, but a lot of them do have things. You know, they're connected to houses, right? So he was working on he was working on a roof. He's found on roofs all the time. I don't know why, but the guy's always on a roof. Okay. So he takes a snapshot of this, and this is actually his Father's Day post of him working away Father's Day on the roof of his house doing something. Okay. 439 people reached. I can't tell you how many posts I've done for people about Father's Day where it's just Happy Father's Day and it goes nowhere. Nobody sees it. Nobody cares. It doesn't connect with anybody. He puts himself on a roof, writes a little bit of personal copy at the top, 5 comments, 1 share, 12 people like it, and he's reaching a larger audience than he actually has following his page.
Right, because remember, guys, he only had 362 people who follow him. So it's not like, and now imagine that all 362 are actually there, like, clicking, liking, doing things. That's not necessarily true. It means he's reaching a wider audience.
Yeah.
I love this post.
Guys, this one is really important because it's a pretty good illustration. We'll talk about his blocky copy because I don't like it, but it tends to work. Whenever he's going through a closing, Scott does this really cool thing where he gives away a Yeti cooler. So he's always taking pictures with his clients and their new Yetis, which is awesome, right? But he always tags the whoever gave him the lead. He thanks people. He actively thanks people on social media, making it not about him, making it about them. Remember when I told you in the beginning, if somebody walks in the room and just starts talking about themselves and doesn't let you talk, are they fun to be around? The answer is no. But if somebody is thanking you publicly, it feels really good, right? It's just a place to have a conversation. So he's thanking Heather for the referral, and he's tagging the company that she works for. He made it personal and professional. He thanked the person and the business. Do you guys see that? That's a little nuance there. But he doesn't use his social media to promote himself. He uses his social media to promote other people and to engage in conversations. When we talk about engaging social media posts, we engage with other people. He's very natural when he does this. He engages with people, all right? And this is a business post. So he names the individuals. In this case, he knew the sellers, they were childhood friends. And these are his buyers that came from out of state. It was a really good connection. He had 992 people reach this, 5 different shares.
Love it. Because
including
look,
look at the very top, guys. Bellwether Community Credit Union shared his post.
So real quick, how many of you follow all your preferred vendors, your mortgage companies, title companies, inspectors, appraiser, like all the different people we use in our world? How many of you follow them on your business page? Okay, couple hands. How many of you wait for them to post the closing pics and then you tag yourself in them? Don't do that. Get them up there first and tag. You get those posts up.
Yeah, and keep in mind what he's really doing here is he's thanking people. He's wishing people the best, but he's making it personal. So people react to it because it is personal. I have countless examples of groups that I work with where they'll post stuff that is just gold as far as like we talk about value. There's value, and nobody pays attention to them. The second we start posting things about people, all of a sudden their numbers go through the roof.
You know, I noticed that with my daughter. I will post things, and then as soon as I post something about one of my kids doing something crazy, my engagement and comments are through the roof. Or I post a picture of myself with a I'm looking great, and then I post my end of the day picture, and of course that's the one everybody comments on, right? Because they're connecting with me, not with the things I'm putting out. So on your worksheet, guys, we have a section for value, and there's 4 E's on there. And now we've got emotional, we've got educational, we've got entertainment, which is me with my Snapchat filters giving you guys crazy things. And then we have economic, which is our market stats, our things that are going on in our real estate world, right? And we do have to play between these 4 different topics, right? Because not every post is going to speak to every human that is on your page. But one of those 4 is going to hit someone every single day. So we've got emotional, educational, entertainment, and economic, right? So how do we figure out what to put in those buckets, right? And how to add engagement, because we're coming up here with just about 20 minutes left in a couple minutes. So I want to make sure we get to the engagement, the calls to action. You know, you may hear the term CTA a lot when you hear about social media. And if you're on the growth calls, you may notice that some of the posts we give you guys have questions, because questions are calls to action, or it's you pushing the reader or the person in front of you into a specific action or behavior you want them to take. Are you trying to find one?
Yeah, say that again, because I was reading Mary's question, because I think it's
No, that's okay. I answered your thing for you. Don't you worry. So let's talk about calls to action.
Okay, guys, this is interesting though, because calls to action are very important, but you have to understand what you're asking people to do. So yes, we want engaging posts. There are going to be times where we ask people for something. You don't want to constantly be asking for something on every single post, right? It's too much, it becomes too much. But there are times when you do want people to actually engage and provide information to you. Scott's post today, as we wrote it, I'll show you at the bottom of it. We're telling to all my family and friends, my business succeeds because of your referrals. If you know someone who has questions about buying or selling a home, please pass them my information. I'll treat them like old friends. Okay, do you see the difference there between, are you thinking about buying or selling?
Who do you know who's thinking about buying or selling?
Who do you know who's buying or selling? But the call to action is I need your help. If you know somebody, please pass them my information. Does that make sense? When you're posting something organically on social media, it's really hard to have those hard conversion calls to action like we would use in a paid ad. A paid ad is designed from the copy that we write to the creative that we use. It's designed to drive a single action. You have to be softer when you're talking about your organic posts. All right. So the calls to action, you really have to be careful about how you do it. I find the best way to do it is ask people for help.
Yep. You know, we find the posts where agents say things like, who is a great exterminator? Who can fix an appliance for one of my clients real quick? You get tons of traction on that because people want to be helpful, right? They want to know that, oh yeah, I have the greatest plumber. I have the greatest contractor. Let me give you their info, right? We see tons of those vendor asks get tons of traction. And then people often say to me, well, then how come they comment on that, but they don't comment on anything else? And it's because you're not asking them to help you, or there's not a, and like Nate said, not every post needs a call to action. Some just needs to be informative. I love this shirt. I need this because when you have siblings, you're all the favorite and you fight for this, right? But I am my mom's favorite.
I wanted to point this out really quickly because we talk about engaging in what we post. And we've mentioned a few times that Scott's kind of out there a little bit. And this is the type of funny stuff that people actually do find funny. His share they didn't post on his, he shared it over to his personal side. His personal side had like 30 comments.
Yeah.
His brothers got in on the joke. You know, his neighbors were talking about him as a kid. Like, it made it really, really, really easy. So instead of your typical Mother's Day post, he made himself the part of the joke.
And you know, something else I want to point out on that is not a busy photo. If you look back through a lot of his visuals, oftentimes we see that agents want to put all their info on something, right? Their phone number, their website, their email, their brokerage info. While there are things we have to put legally inside the body of the post, depending on your state, this becomes cluttered and messy and not visually appealing. Also, I will ask you guys, if you cannot tap, touch, or click to get redirected from someone, you are causing frustration, because we live in a consumer mobile world where we're so used to clicking on things or tapping on things to get there that you're going to frustrate your consumer. And if they're trying to get a hold of you and they can't, they may go elsewhere or they may go to a different avenue, and then they're going to be frustrated. The same thing why I hate just picture email signatures. If they're not dynamic and they're only, if they cannot move and do something and get the consumer to where they need to be, you frustrate people. Same thing with your media here. Your visual is so clean, and I mean, it tells the exact story. He's mom's favorite.
Let's show you the difference though. This is the post that we put up, which kind of has his business post. It had 28 people reached. Absolutely nobody cared.
Yeah.
Right?
It didn't have human tied to it.
Because it wasn't the human connection.
Yep.
I have seen guys, groups and large teams that have almost 2,000 followers on their social media pages only reach 28 people on average with their posts. Because they cannot seem to grasp the idea that it is all about connecting with people, and they make it all about businesses, and people tune businesses out.
They do. They want to do business with people. They want to know that they're cared about, that they're valued. And, you know, we toss that word value out a lot here because, you know, everything we do at the KW world, between our drip campaigns that are smart plans and the things we give you to post and stats to share and all these things, it's how are you bringing value? But more important, there is only one you at a hyper local level. How you connect with your community is very different than how I may connect with my community. The activities, your hobbies, the things your family participates in, maybe you own a local business as well, right? How we show up in our local community is different from each person, and it's your community that is going to support your business. So we need to show community and hyper local here. And Scott's page is such a wonderful example of how to be hyper local in a community.
Yeah. Let's talk about the components of a post so that we can kind of talk about what going in real quick, because I can cover it in about 7 minutes, and then I'd love to open it up for about 10 minutes. I really do want back and forth, guys. I want to answer your questions, and I want to get a gauge on kind of how this is going for you. You know, what your takeaways are. Just, I want to open it up to you guys, right? Because as a workshop, it needs to be about you. So let's talk about the actual anatomy of a post. Okay. All right, I'm going to go right to the top of it. So as you're posting,
go slow. There we go. Okay.
Right here at the top, I'm gonna hit create post. It's gonna open up my little post window. All right. So there's a couple different things that we're looking at when we are creating a post. This is what goes on your business page, right? Up here in this section, we have our copy. This is what we put. This is what our writing is. I would never post something, even if it's coming out of the command library, without putting a personal touch on it. There's a lot of great collateral that you guys have access to through command. But
you mean you shouldn't walk into a room just holding a sign that says I'm a realtor and not speak to somebody?
No, if you hold up a sign and go, I'm a realtor. This is house information. People are going to go, wow, that person's crazy. They belong on the side of a street yelling at cars. You know, like you're no different, right? There's no context to it. So what you have to keep in mind when you're writing is really what you're doing is you're adding context to the post that you're putting up. Let me say that again. When you're writing something at the top, you're framing out why people should pay attention to it, who should pay attention to it, and you're dictating the conversation around your post. Okay. There's a couple different ways that you can add creative. See, add to your post. This is where you would put your pictures, right? So a couple cool little things. If you hit this little button here, this is where most people are going to put something. This is the photo or video. So if I were to click this, I could add a photo to it. I'm not going to, but I
You're not going to
could.
post on somebody's page?
I posted on Scotty's page so many times. I wish I'd had the avocado stuff up. I would have done that one. But you can pick your own photo or your own video. You could put it selected here, whether it's coming out of command or something that you found. One other thing that you can do, and let me show you what this looks like, because this is actually really fun. See this link right here? I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to hit create post again. And right up here in the top, I'm simply going to hit paste. And if you paste outside content, I didn't get the whole thing.
You didn't get the whole link.
I didn't get the whole thing.
Nope.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do real quick?
Just
because I do want them to see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and I'm going to click on the link. I'm going to grab the whole link and then we'll go back.
Load, load, load. There you go.
So this is an article, guys, that was put out actually on the 29th. So this is something that is hyper current, and it's talking about the hottest markets in the country, which Southern New Hampshire is one of them. So that's why this one is really relevant. In fact, the picture is of Manchester, New Hampshire on the cover of the Realtor.com article, which is pretty cool. I'm going to paste the article or paste the hyperlink. When I paste a hyperlink from a news story, that hyperlink is actually connected to creative. So it automatically pulls the source information here. So here's the article and the creative that they used for the story.
So you're actually hitting a bunch of the value buckets we talked about earlier, right? So it's educational and it's economic.
And it's hyper local. Now, keep in mind this one, even though it's realtor.com and it's something that is, it's national, this picture just happened to be Scott's market because his market is listed in the top 10.
That's awesome. Now, so you can write copy above that. I have a burning question from so many people. It's, can I put emoticons in my copy? Am I allowed to do that? Like, should I put little emoticons in my copy, and how many is too aggressive?
I would say use as many as you're comfortable with, and it has to match your personality, but definitely use them.
Yeah, good. I know I feel like some people shy away from them, but they are such a great way to also break up the copy, so it's a little easier to read.
I use them constantly, and the posts that I use them tend to do better than the posts that I don't when I don't use them.
So we've got copy, we've got a great visual. Now, so Scott's market is Manchester, New Hampshire, and the surrounding area. So would you tag the location, Manchester, New Hampshire? I could just simply push return down here. I could start adding my hashtags. So I could do Manchester, New Hampshire. I could do, oops, need a hashtag. Don't forget to use a hashtag or it's just a bunch of words. And you can't put spaces in hashtags. You can, if you've got something that's long or weird and you want to break it up, you can put uppercase, but you can't put spaces or punctuation in a hashtag.
New Hampshire real estate.
Whoop, whoop.
I could also put KW. I'm not going to post this, so you get the idea. Yep. I could tag the local market center. I could tag lenders in the area. So these are hashtags. Let's go up to the top though, because it's very different when you're actually tagging another business. You want to use the @ sign.
Yep, the @ symbol is what calls a search box. You spelled my name wrong.
I know.
Still spelling it wrong. It's okay.
I'm fat fingering this. Brooke, give me a break. Are you on here?
I'm Brooke the nerd.
Yes, you are.
You
All right, so look at this.
are.
So you do the at symbol. This is how you tag other people and businesses, anything. So this is where you connect this back to their pages. So when I would do this, Brooke would get a little notification here, so it would automatically draw her attention. So if you have partners that you work with in the area, so one thing you could do at the bottom of it, you could say, if you're looking for a home and need a place to start, contact my friends at, and then name one of the mortgage companies.
Yeah, because the people following their page would see it as well.
Yep. Yep. So the idea here, guys, is you see how I've used an outside article. I've shown you how you can tag an individual or a business here. We've put the tags, so we've labeled the post, what it's about, right? So we've covered a lot of the bases here, but what you really need to do is make sure that the copy is connecting. And then I can continue to write the copy. Because what happens is, if somebody's thinking about buying a home in New Hampshire, this article is important to read to them. So I didn't just throw it out there and hopefully somebody can get through all the other noise. The very first thing that I did was give the audience an opportunity to say, this is important to me.
You know what I often think of this as? So I'm a foodie person. I cook a lot of recipes that I find on Pinterest and the interwebs. I never read the blog post for the recipe, but you've got me for the first couple sentences and then I skip to the recipe. So we've got to catch them in the first couple sentences before they go ahead and jump ahead to the recipe. I mean, I can't be the only human that does that.
You have to. And one thing that I would recommend, because Brooke did touch on this, and I know I want to open up to questions. Don't write big paragraphs. We don't read paragraphs any longer. We have an attention span of a squirrel because of social media. Okay. Like none of us pay attention to anything. It's like, oh, what's this? What's this? What's this? There's so much noise going on that we have to grab people and we have to talk to them almost in bullet points. So break up the copy that you write and write them almost like they're bullet points. So right here, I wouldn't continue to write a paragraph because people are going to look at the paragraph and their mind is going to go, I'm not reading that. If you make it standalone, hit return a couple times, then write the next thing down here. Does that make sense?
That makes such sense.
That's the best way. That's the most engaging way to write copy. All right. I would love to open this thing up to questions. We got about 7 minutes left.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's stop. I'm going to stop your sharing so we can see our friends who turn their videos off, but that's okay. We've got to
turn them back on and let's talk. Give me 1 second though. I've got to get some power.
Yeah, go ahead. Plug in for a second. Oh, hi, Chris Tovek.
Hi.
Hi. All right. If you've got a question for Nate while he's plugging in, go ahead and put your little digital hand up and we'll get to you. I'll come off of mute if you don't know how to put your digital hand up and we'll answer those questions. I know Keith just have a question in the chat. What about contests? Can you dig a little deeper about contests? Are they good for engagement? So if you want to answer that for me, we'll come back to your question. But hey, Jennifer, come on off of mute, friend.
I am on for mute now. How are you?
Good. It's so nice to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's been following along here.
I'm doing good too, Jennifer. Thank you for asking.
No, he doesn't. It's all about me, Jen. It's all about me. Anyway.
No, I know. The question I had was whether, because I always felt like also in Facebook engagement, it's good to recommend other people if you are trying to get them to recommend you. So a lot of times, if someone asks for a plumber, I always recommend my plumber. Mm-hmm. I have a hard time, and I feel like I'm wasting a lot of time instead of saying his name. Can you do at his name? Like, I find that, is there an easier way to find his business? It doesn't, like, sometimes his business comes up, sometimes it doesn't. Then I feel like I have to go add a phone number and
go look at his business name on Facebook.
Okay.
So a lot of times there'll be a little @ symbol right below the title of his business page. And
Okay.
that's something that you could see, like Brooks is at Brooke the Nerd. That's what her
Okay.
tag is. So you can just type that in or copy that and dump it right into the copy, and then they're
And that's
tagged.
on everyone's Facebook
Yeah.
Exactly.
profile or
Also,
Reddit there.
yep, you can also tag a location. So if you ever see those posts where it says Brooke is at feeling spicy, right? So I am at La Coretta. You can find those locations too. So if they have a business location, you can find it right in location. You can add a location to your posts.
Okay. I'm going to answer a couple different things here.
Sure.
That's a good point. So Keith added some context to his question. I want to go back to Mary's question about Facebook inundating us with ads real quick. Facebook does inundate us with ads, but their number one goal is to get good engagement on the platform, because the only way that we're going to stick around for the ads is if there's enough other content there that keeps us on the platform. If they scare everybody away with ads, then guess what? People don't spend as much time on the platform. Okay.
Mhm.
So what they do is they actually rank your post based on the activity, not that you have on it, but that other people take on your posts. So if you put up stuff that people engage with, right, what's going to happen is they're going to show it to a larger audience. If nobody cares, if nobody cares about it and nobody engages with it, that's what happens when you have 2,000 followers and 28 people saw the post. It's because it didn't connect and nobody engaged with it. And Facebook doesn't have time to promote stuff that's not any good. So they basically kill the post.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that just because you post something, your audience will find it. All right.
Interesting.
Does that answer that question?
Awesome, Mary. So Keith, I have like a love-hate relationship with contests.
Well, I have a love-hate relationship with trying to build followers.
Yeah, I think that's what it is it should be like back in the day we used to buy followers for businesses, and you can't do that anymore, right?
Well, you listen, so you could, but the problem is if they don't engage with your stuff, what does it matter?
Right. What's the point?
If you can have 2,000 followers, but if people don't care about it, then it's not impactful. So, when Facebook first came out, it was a race to get followers. So people were running contests constantly. Follow my page, follow my page, follow my page. That's not how Facebook ranks our content any longer. They rank it by engagement. So it doesn't matter how many people you have following you. If your posts don't connect and start conversations, they die. So the focus should be putting out good content that drives conversations, and you'll get more out of that than just trying to grab followers. Now, with that being said, when you engage with somebody, it's a really good idea to ask them if you can connect on Facebook.
Absolutely.
It's okay to ask people. I would rather build my following organically, because it was kind of a handshake and I'll see you on Facebook moment, than if I were to do it through a contest where I don't necessarily know somebody and the only reason they followed me was for the contest.
And they might not even be local. They might not even be local or relevant to your market. And then the other thing is, how many of you are newbies on here, new agents in our world? Okay. So oftentimes we don't know how to speak to our families about what we're doing. We feel like we're inundating them. So often I tell our newer agents, when families say this to you and they say, well, I don't know how to help you or I'm not looking to buy or sell. Great. Can you just do me the biggest favor, and can you follow me on Facebook, and can you interact with my posts so I make sure other people who may be looking to buy or sell see them? If you see a spelling mistake, let me know, right? Make it funny, make it cute. But people don't know how to support you in the beginning necessarily. Just ask them to be a part of your Facebook community. So we have Carrie with a question, and then I think that wraps us up.
Oh, and then it would say Carrie's, and then I want to address Randy's real quick, if you don't mind.
Oh, sorry, I was raising my hand that I was a newbie, but I did have I had one question. I am having trouble getting my emojis in Facebook. Is there like a button I hit, or
there is, and I'll show you how to do that in a second.
Yeah. It's a right click.
It's a right click.
Right click and a little button at the top.
Oh, right click and button. Okay, thanks.
All right.
And one last question. And then so you said you posted on the your business page, and then do you share onto your personal page?
Yes, you do.
But if you share it on your personal page and you want to boost it, do you boost it first on your business page or no, this is not boosting.
You do
It's
not
not
boost.
boosting.
Guys,
No boosting.
I have got a whole course that talks about, and this addresses Randy's question as well, because he asked if there was a course. The answer is yes. I have a 6-hour course that I put together teaching people the basics of Facebook from a communication standpoint. And I know that there are a few people on this call. I'm looking through the names right now, and you guys can speak up if you'd like. I know Kate has taken the class, and I think I saw Bonnie on here earlier.
Yep.
I'm not sure if she's still on here. So they've actually gone through the course in the past. It really is something that agents have found helpful. And if you're an individual agent, or you work in a market center and you want to talk about bringing the course to your group, I would definitely have a conversation with you. There's
And
a
what
lot
I'll
of
do,
different
guys,
ways to do it.
and we'll get that information out to you as well. So don't feel like, because remember, we've got Nate now for 2 more classes. So make sure you join us. We are hitting 2:00, so we're going to cut everybody off. But we've got Nate for 2 more classes, right? So follow us on the growth call. I'm going to paste that link back in here a second. We're going to post the information back up from today. The worksheet will be out there. And let's get next week, we're going to learn how to post and when to post on our social media calendars that are inside command. So you can time block, do all your marketing, and then you're only dropping in to do stuff here and there. So guys, for me, for Nate, for the region, we thank you so much for spending the last hour with us as we talked about the anatomy of an engaging post. So if you've got questions, go ahead and email me at b.silva@kw.com or find me online at Brooke the Nerd, and we'll get chatting about it. Nate, thank you so much as always. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you guys too, all of you. Brooke, you're great. The rest of you, you're better.
All right, I'm ending the meeting at that. Get out. Get out.
Bye, guys. Hey, happy 4th of July. Everyone have a great weekend and go sell houses.
Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.